A lot of Saturday mornings I would love to get up early and drive the Cobra around. It was just a wonderful time to do it, especially when it was in the warmer months and it was a nice time to get out. And the sun was coming up kind of early, and I would just feel like going to a different part of town to go take some pictures. And it's always interesting to see the different landscapes. And in this town, it's very diverse, and there's a lot of different places that when I look at some of these pictures, it doesn't even look like it's the same place I live, but it's pretty cool. And so the competition orange looks really good on this car, and it's very photogenic. And sometimes you have to take 1,000 pictures until you find one that you really, really like. And that's something that's really fun to do, is just go out and take pictures. If I remember correctly, back in this time, Instagram was more of just pictures. There weren't very many videos or reels or anything like that, and so I would go out and just take pictures to post. And I was really enjoying posting pictures on the forums like SVT Performance and Modded Mustangs. And there was a post a picture of your car, like a daily picture of your car thread that I would go on, and so I would post up pictures there and show the car. And these nice gated communities were a good place to go take pictures. The car looked really nice there. The background's just very high end, very elegant, nice, beautiful place. And I remember coming into this place. It was a big swimming center, had a nice parking lot and a good drop down where I could get up a little higher and see pictures. But a lot of times the Cobra just sat in the garage, and most of its life is like this, with the battery tender plugged in, sitting, waiting to be driven. And that's okay. The car had plenty of time to sit while I daily drove the other cars. Then I take it out again. This was one evening I just had the family with me, and we drove around, and it was just fun to go places. And at this time I had two boys, so it was easier for us to all get in the car and go places. But later we had our third boy, who I love, and I'm very excited and happy to have my beautiful family. But it made it so that we couldn't all go places in the Cobra. So I would take it out on Saturday mornings, and so this was a time I went with my brother. I had just put the Borla exhaust on, and I wanted some pictures of the car with the Borla exhaust tips, kind of just showing what the car looked like. And this was actually in the parking lot of the elementary school where I went to school when I was a kid, so it was kind of fun to park there. I used to race my Hot Wheels cars down the cement drainage ramp that was on the corner of the field. You can't really see it from any of these pictures, but it was in the corner of that field where it went up towards the higher level where the school was. And the main road where I'm parked right now behind the Cobra is where all the cars would drive back and forth. And I remember seeing cool cars driving through when I was at recess. And so it's kind of cool to think about me now here. If I could be racing my Hot Wheels cars and look over and see this bright orange Cobra, see my future self over there, I would have been thrilled. So I filled up at the gas station, which was in my old neighborhood when I was a kid, and then, bring the car home, clean it up and put it away, and then the next week I'd get up early and go out and enjoy it. This is on top of a mesa that overlooks the city, and there's a lot of nice homes up here. And each of these pictures is so nice. You could really look at each one of these and get a lot of detail and take your time. And I had mentioned before that I had my screensaver at work set up where these pictures would cycle through, and as I'm working I could look up and look at a couple details. And that's the best time to study these pictures, because you just take a couple seconds and look and enjoy the wheel and the shine on the wheel, or you look and notice the Cobra mirrors that are painted, and I drove it to this shopping center early in the morning, so I was able to get out and do a little walk around. Nobody was there. That's the best time to go drive the car around, because there aren't many people out there. Nobody's going to ding your doors or run into you. Now, sometimes there are people who just woke up early and they're not really quite awake, and maybe you worry about one of them hitting the car. But for the most part, you drive around, there's nobody around. There's the police station, it's funny to park next to these police cars for a minute. The city has built a lot of these newer buildings that look like old sandstone buildings. It's kind of cool to see they've kind of gone retro with it. So this is actually a new building, even though it kind of looks like a really old 1800s building. And so they've done a lot to make these buildings blend in around here. It's kind of nice. I'd be cruising around and I would look over and see this bridge, and I thought, I want to take my Cobra and go put it on that bridge and take some pictures. I have pictures of my Bullet here as well, but it's just a different landscape. Like I had mentioned earlier, just a different part of town, and on a nice morning with the sun coming up, it looked really good on that competition orange. I love the shine of the wheel. You can see the reflection of the wheel on the ground. You'll see that in some more pictures, but cool bridge to go park on, and of course nobody's there because it's early in the morning. But this competition orange was so nice in the sun. It's hard to capture it on camera sometimes, but at least you can see it's a bright, nice color. And some of these pictures came out really nicely. You can see the shine on the quarter panel there and the tail lights on and stuff. The shine on the tires. Here's a little walk around. So that's a nice time to take a picture, and like you can look at all the different details, like it with the fog lights on. I think it looks really good, and I was just learning on how to take good pictures of the car, because sometimes your shadows are in the way, or sometimes the car's not in the right lighting. See, like there, it's a really great picture, but my shadow is on the front bumper. I love this highway. Nobody was there. I got out and took pictures of the car just in the middle of the road. It looked good with it parked in the lines. And there are some new roads here to go take some pictures on. You can see the fresh black asphalt looked really nice, and little neighborhood out this way, kind of quiet. The red mountains in the background look really good, so I can go out there and just try to take some nice pictures. And I even stood up on a wall here so I could get a little bit higher and take a nice picture of the Cobra with the background. Very beautiful scenery out this way, and so lots of good memories driving around out there. There's some fields here. Not very common around here to have a lot of green fields, but this was a good place to take some pictures, and I think the sunlight and the shadow was really nice on this picture. It looked really good. Cobra looking fantastic. So here is the old style building again. It's a newer building, but it looks old. I went to a shopping center, went in, got a donut or something, come back out. Awesome view to walk out to. And then driving home, there's the Bullet parked on the street. I never really left it on the street, but I probably had to move it to get it out of the way so I could get the Cobra out that day. Let the car cool down, open up the hood so the heat would come out of it. And my Cobra never had the heat blanket on the bottom side of the hood. I think a lot of people take it off so you can hear the supercharger scream a little louder. But without that, I was worried that the heat would fade the paint on the hood if the car sat after drive, so I'd always open the hood and just let the heat out. And I didn't want the plaque on the engine to get yellow and stuff. I tried, spraying it down and cooling it down with some water as well. But I don't know if that really helps, because the engine's so hot, it just gets hot again as the car's cooling. So it was a very nice morning, and I wanted to go meet up with my brother, so it's fun to get the two Cobras together. These cars are so bright together. Going down the road is just so fun, and it's fun to follow him around and follow each other around. And this is our old neighborhood we grew up in as kids, where we fell in love with the Mustangs, and this is the street we actually lived on. And so we'd go around and drive around and take pictures and videos of each other. So here in our old neighborhood, there was a 1996 bright tangerine orange GT that used to sit in a driveway at this house. We would pass it every day when we'd go somewhere. It was always parked there. We talked to the owner when he was selling it, and I've always liked that car. I've never been able to find it. It'd be nice to know whatever happened to it, but it was parked in this circular driveway, and so my brother and I parked my new orange Cobra in the same spot where that one used to be for fun. And right next door to this house is where the owner of the green Bullet I always talk about used to live. And so my brother and I actually test drove a 5,000-mile Bullet, and we came to this same spot and we parked it in that same driveway just for good time's sake. So I parked my Cobra in front of that house too to get a picture, just because for my brother and me it really brings back a lot of memories, and that's what makes these cars so special, is the memories and the feelings you have when you have them. You could have a bunch of cars that you enjoy driving around, but to my brother and me, it's just really special to drive these cars around and come back to our childhood and remember how badly we wanted a Mustang at this time. And we had bought our V6 Mustangs in high school, so we were very grateful and happy for those. But just the idea of having a new orange Cobra back then would have been the best thing that could have ever happened. And so it's fun to make that dream come true and come here with an orange Cobra and park in front of that house. And so it's fun to go to our old neighborhood and just drive around a little bit. Now, something really cool is behind that garage door used to be the actual movie car Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds, one of the few remaining screen used cars. And so this is a picture of me inside that garage, inside Eleanor, and the owner of the Ford dealership who had the green Bullet. He had a bunch of really nice cars and Ferraris and Novas and 67 Corvettes and really nice stuff. And, you know, there was a Ferrari right next to Eleanor in this picture. You can't see it. It was an old 60s Ferrari, bright red. But I was more interested in sitting in Eleanor. And so when this picture was taken, the wife was playing around with her new camera. And back then, this was 2001, back then, the cameras weren't on your phone, like really nice ones or whatever. So she came out and said, "Let me take a picture of you guys in Eleanor." And she took a picture and then she printed it out herself on the computer. So that was kind of a new thing back then. So it's pretty cool to know that the original Eleanor was behind that garage door for a short period of time, probably a couple of years, while the guy was building his new multi-million-dollar home, and he kept that car with him at the house to keep an eye on it so it wouldn't get stolen like in the movie, right? So for all the huge Eleanor fans, you know, they say Eleanor is one of the most duplicated Mustangs in the world and copied and, you know, rebuilt, and people love making replicas of it. So for all the Eleanor fans, it's kind of cool to know that this house right here is where Eleanor used to live. The next place we stopped was on the bottom of the street where we grew up. So we grew up on a cul-de-sac, but this was the main road that went by, and everybody had to drive on this main road to leave the subdivision or come into the subdivision. And so we parked the Cobras there and took some pictures and just enjoyed being there. It's just a place where we used to grow up as kids. The bus stop was right by that house behind the yellow Cobra. We used to sit there in the cold mornings and wait for the bus to come, or we'd walk to our friend's house nearby. And so there's just a lot of memories here, and it's fun to, you know, be old enough to drive a car and drive our dream cars here. And so there's just so many memories here. This is the top of another cul-de-sac, and it was a place we like to go for walks. It's always shady in the evening. It's really nice here. The mountain is just so tall, and the homes are built into the mountainside, so there's always shade. It makes it for a nice place, and taking pictures in a shaded area is a little bit better for the interior shots. So we get the car home and just enjoy opening the hood, like I said, let the car cool down, pull it into the garage. Let's pause here for a second and admire the poster of Eleanor in the corner of my garage. And where do you think I got that poster? That was actually a poster that the owner who I was just talking about, who owned Eleanor, had those made, and then he gave me and my brother a couple of them. So you can see that little Easter egg. There is an Eleanor poster in my garage that I kept all those years from the actual movie car that my friend had taken the picture of. You know, pull it out on nice mornings. We're gonna go for another drive here, take the Cobra out, and my brother and I, we're going to meet up again. So Cobra looking fantastic. It's fun to see these pictures of the first house my wife and I bought together. It was a nice little home, and it was great for everything we wanted to do with a little family. I actually had a dream last night that I tried to buy this house back, and they wanted 6 times what I paid for it. Yeah, I was thinking in my dream, well, I could buy the house and then I could have somewhere to keep a couple of my Mustangs and just, use it for that. It was kind of a funny dream. Like I said, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I'm going to do it again. You stare and study the picture and you realize there's a Ford GT poster on the wall. And guess where I got that? It was the same guy who owned Eleanor. He had a white with blue stripes Ford GT. And so he gave my brother and me posters of the Ford GT as well. But anyway, my brother and I drove out to my friend's house. He had that beautiful home in the background there he built himself. And we drove to the gas station where you can get 91 clear, so there's no ethanol in it because the cars sit a lot. And the Cobra just looks really good parked there. I actually remember seeing this picture on my screensaver and trying to think, where was that picture taken? I could see the wheel on the cement, but nice new asphalt behind it. I was trying to think, where was that? And then now, looking at this picture, I can see, oh, it was at that gas station. That makes sense. And so we go there and go on cruises. The beautiful background there. This is one from my brother's Cobra. Kind of cool to get a picture from him. This is another picture that was taken from his Cobra that I just saw recently as I've been looking for pictures and trying to organize all this. And so that was fun to see that picture of the Cobra. I don't know if I've seen that one before. And there's a couple more pictures here that my brother had taken that were on his Facebook page, so I got those because that looks really cool. It's a fun time to meet up together. The Cobra again in my driveway. I was going to take the Cobra out and go for a nice drive, and I wanted to go somewhere this evening with the family, and we ended up taking what I consider some of my favorite pictures of the Cobra. As you can see here, this has been the profile picture on my YouTube for a long time. And so if you look closely, this one right here is a quick video right there. It's hard to tell, but sometimes you could take it in HD on the camera and it would come out as a better quality picture if it was a video. And so my brother told me to do that, where you could record it and then you take a screenshot of that and then you had a better quality photo. But this is probably one of my favorite pictures of the Cobra. It has the nice chrome reflection of the wheel. It has the nice shine on the door. It's just a picture that I look at and I just go, ah, yeah, that looks good. My brother and I took the Cobra out to this retirement community where there's nobody out, and I never had any pictures of me standing next to the Cobra, so my brother said, why don't you take a couple pictures of you? He's like, I'll take them for you. This section of the retirement community is a huge open area, and it's where my friend and I would have people bring their RVs to wash, and so it was kind of a fun place to hang out. I spent a lot of hours there washing RVs with my friend, and then I want to go back there and park the Cobra there and say, I want my car here. I remember there's a guy with a C7 Corvette that brought it over for us to wash, and I remember washing it in that section of the road and thinking, man, this is really nice. I want to bring my Cobra here. So I took the Cobra with my wife and my boys to a place out by the lake, and this is a really wonderful place. Back in the day, this was pretty desolate, but now with the introduction of side-by-sides, there are people who race and drive their side-by-sides all over here. It's just a dust cloud all the time, and if you've seen Matt's Off-Road Recovery and some of those videos, you'll recognize some of this terrain because that's where this is. So I drove and parked the Cobra just on the side of the road in the shoulder. I remember posting this picture and some guy flipped out and was like, you're going to shoot sand all over your Cobra. I was like, dude, I'm going to drive slowly onto the road. The sand comes right off. It's not going to hurt anything. But this section of road is actually nice because you can see how beautiful the view is here. This is where I proposed to my wife, and I think that was a very nice day, and I had my red 97 V6 down there when I did it, and so now I brought the Cobra back. But look at this nice road. They actually tore this entire road out and redid it again, and I don't know why. But look at that background. This is probably my favorite view around here. It is so beautiful and diverse, and that's a beautiful road. And then you have the lake there in the background, where I remember when they made this reservoir, I was a teenager, so it was fun to come here and go swimming with friends and stuff. And there's a community nearby where I took a bunch of pictures. So at night I was driving the Cobra around, and I went to a new Mercedes dealership where the lighting was nice, and I thought, I'll just park here, there's an empty spot. But it was nice lighting to get get out and try taking some pictures and see how they turned out. And the car looked great. The chrome on the wheels looks really good in these pictures. And so this newer lighting, I think it's LED, but it looked really good in that parking lot. Then I went to Walmart at night, and I remember looking at these pictures and being like, well, it was so late, nobody was there, and I was parked on the side of the building, and the car was safe there, but I remember kind of worrying about it while I was in there, so I didn't stay inside very long. I just went and got a Snickers or something, a Reese's, one of my favorite candy bars, and then came out to the car, and it was fine parked there. I went to the gas station and took some pictures there. The car looked really nice under the lights, and there was nobody around and stuff. So really fun to have these gas station pictures of the car and look back and see the old ads and stuff. And that's a little piece of history that will change, and it's fun to look back at that. So there's this new hotel that had kind of crazy green lights on it, so I thought that'd be a fun picture to take with the Cobra. It's like anywhere I drive around, I think, hey, that'd be kind of cool. I should take a picture of the Cobra there. And like I said, sometimes you got to take 1,000 pictures until you find one you really like. Again, this is at a gas station, or what they would probably call in the old days a service station, because you used to have your vehicle serviced when you would stop by. Maybe they added some bulk oil to the car, like my friend told me. And so looking at the old ads is kind of fun to see. I mean, something about 3 cents every fill up, or 30 cents when you do something. So kind of cool to see these old pictures. This one was like earn 10 cents a gallon, apply for a credit card. My friend collects old, gas station stuff, and so like Coca-Cola bottles and machines and things. So it's kind of like that. Well, and a really cool story about that was my brother and I were actually at a Texaco gas station once, and when we were there, they were just taking down the old ads that had a GT500 on them, and we were just in the exact right place at the right time. And so we asked if it was okay if we took one of them, and they gave us a few of these. And one of the best scores I had with that was I went into an AutoZone once, and they actually had a Bullet Mustang on one of their main posters. And I asked the guy about the poster, and he said, oh, that was supposed to be changed out a long time ago. I said, do you mind if I take it? And he said, let me get the new one. I'll put it up, and I'll put this one aside for you. Come back in a few days. And so I did go back in a few days, and I didn't think he saved it for me, but he had it behind the counter for me. And if you look into my brother's old videos he had made years and years ago, there's a little Easter egg in there. You might see that same poster on the wall. And the story behind that is I had put that poster at his house for safekeeping when I moved out of my house and I was between homes. I didn't want it getting hurt in storage or bent or ruined. And then I told him he could keep it when I sold my Bullet, because it hurt so bad to see that poster, because I was so sad about selling my Bullet. And then when I got my Bullet back, he gave it back to me. So that's kind of a cool story that you might not know about, but you'll see that in some of his older videos. It was actually at his house on the wall. So around the 4th of July, I would like to go early in the morning and park in front of Lowe's and take a picture of my Cobra there with the American flag. I actually brought each of my Mustangs over and took a picture of it there because I thought that was a really cool picture. I like this picture of my 3 Mustangs at the time, how much I loved each of these. It was fun to get them out. Still have each of these cars today. So I put these drag radials on my Cobra, and I had them on there just because I needed a set of tires for it, and it was mentioned in the last story. But I wanted to go out and practice launching, and I wanted to do a couple burnouts in the Cobra, and so I did. This is out where I've done a lot of drive-by videos of my cars, and I told people that sometimes you need to go use up a set of tires to learn how to launch the car right. I mean, I did some brake stands and had some fun with it as well. That's the only time I've done that with the Cobra, but sometimes you need to go burn up a set of tires and learn how to launch the car. And some people don't want to put that work or burn that kind of money doing it, but it makes you a better driver. And so that's what gave me the edge over a lot of people when I raced over the years, because I already knew how to launch the car. Now in this case, I was upset because I got home and realized I probably should have dropped the tire pressure and I would have been able to launch it better. but I wasn't really planning on going out and doing this. I was just out there and thought, okay, I'm going to do this a few times and have some fun with the car. So even with drag radials, it's just so easy to rev it up and just burn these tires off. So that was a lot of fun. And so by now you know the drill. Get home, open the hood, let the car cool down, and then put it away. And so I hope you've enjoyed these pictures and videos so far. We have more to go through in the next video. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more of the story of this competition Orange Cobra and more Mustang content.